All right, welcome back, guys. We're going to be talking with the CEO from SFT Combat, one of the best Brazilian promotions out there right now in the world. And how's it going right now, David?
Hey man, that's so nice to be doing this with you finally. And I got to thank you not just for this, but since you're by far our biggest English speaking fan that we've
Early.
had. You would come on the Instagram interviews without understanding a word, but since you start talking about SFT in your podcast, we've seen a lot more Americans watching our events. So much to the point that I'm looking into broadcasting starting this year in English as
I think
well.
you should. Yeah, I think you should. Even on like other platforms, like even like Rumble and like Kick and all this stuff. Like that's what I want to do, right? Like I'm just not sure like how I can stream on Kick and like all do it all together. Haven't figured that out yet. But yeah, I think
Yeah, the
that's like
softwares you can stream to everyone.
yeah, that's where like where the future is. If you can multi-stream, like I've seen streamers online like multi-streaming on like other platforms, and then that really like helps with your growth overall. I feel like
I'm a big nerd. Before going to SFC, I was a chess champion and a video production company. So if you need any help or anything, all those things we can talk during the week, and I can walk you through
for
some
sure.
suggestions of
I
how
have
to
a, I
do
have
it.
a question for you first of all. Like this GFO thing, right? Like I want to get your side of your point of view. Like what's going on with this? Like it's so confusing to me.
Yeah, I'm talking to them. We're in the talks. Supposedly, I will be doing the Brazilian events for them. I'll be the manager of the productions. It's interesting. It's definitely going to be a tough sell. I was shocked with the draft that there were a lot better fighters in the list of the draft that I thought they would pick. I think the old guys. It's interesting. I think the first event, people are going to want to see them. The old time people are going to want to see their fans, and they're going to bring their kids and their family, and it should be a big buzz.
So what do you
That
think their goal is? Right? They're signing all these guys that already have a name for in MMA and like they're already like competed their whole life. I mean, so like do you think their goal is overall like they wanna build these new up and coming guys off these older
Yeah, I think
guys?
that's what was the strategy was. And I think the strategy also with the draft was let's create as much buzz as possible. So let's get every single name we can possibly get on there. My guess is knowing that 90% of those guys are not going to go. And even if they are in the team, they're not going to match some 46-year-old guy with some 22-year-old prospect. They're going to probably match to be like when we started SFT, we had the seniors division. We will bring some of the retired fighters. And there were some of the most fun, some of the most exciting fights because they're gonna be there for the love of the sport, and they'll give a good fight. And they're going to leverage the name of those big guys to get the little
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
to become known. And that's it's very smart. The guys see how they do. There was the promotion in Brazil called Taura that around 2019, they did something similar. They got all the huge MMA, all stars from MMA from the world, and they paid them a fortune. But they weren't using those names to get the new guys up and coming to get on. So after two,
Okay,
three
okay.
events, they just couldn't keep it going. And when I first saw what they're doing, they're gonna kill me because they're gonna leverage the big names to get the small names, and then they just didn't match up good fights outside of those. Like I said down the
Like even
days,
with
well,
like
they
guys like that are on losing streaks right now, like Tony Ferguson, right? Like he's one of my favorite fighters I've watched over the past 10 years. I mean, like what can you do with Tony Ferguson? I mean, he's on a huge losing streak. I mean, what can you do with that? Like as a
you know
matchmaker.
I know it's. I think the U.S. fans are a lot smarter and knowledgeable and about the fighters. In Brazil, we don't get any MMA. There's no news. Even UFC, but barely any news. And the events, they don't really talk about the history of the fighters. We're the only event in Brazil that does that video before the fight, talking about fights. We're the only one that puts the fighters' records on Instagram because we're the only ones who are
Yeah, I
matching
like the
really.
production too. You guys do a really good job with production. Like noticed other promotions, like their camera, like just like I don't know, something goes on with the camera. Like it gets all blurry. Like you can't see the fights. I mean, like just like it's really like that's something I like about your promotion. You guys do a really good job. I think that should be main priority for every promotion out there, like
Yeah,
production.
I studied film and photography. That's what I did my whole life. I had a production company, and then I'm an award-winning producer. Pretty much every nonprofit organization that's based in South Florida, I was the go-to guy. I was the king of making people cry at the fundraising dinners. And if you get rich people crying at a fundraising dinner,
Yeah,
you've
they're
got it.
gonna. Yeah, you got him.
They're gonna. So I was the master of that. So I bring all this experience. You're gonna laugh at this. That I went to watch SFT got started by my father. SFT won
Okay,
2013.
so your whole family was in MMA. Like, is that how you
No, so we
guys
had my father. So we're from the film business, and with
film
Netflix
business?
and
Okay,
streaming, things have been were changing rapidly. So, but because of our relationship with the network, we were able
yeah,
to get prime time on the network. So my father did SFT one and two in 2013. He shut it down. 5 years later, he did SFT three. So I went to Brazil to watch SFT four, thinking I was gonna go watch because I had never watched MMA fight in my life. I thought Dana White was the woman when I got to Brazil, and people
oh,
were saying,
you thought it was a woman?
yeah,
Okay.
I Ultimate Fighting was UFC. That's how little I knew. And thank God I didn't open my mouth because I went to the event and I went to the wings and people are talking about Dana White. I'm going, man, I got to research this chick. She seems to be very popular in the UFC. I didn't know UFC was Ultimate Fighting. When I got to the hotel and I Googled it, I go, oh my God, if they found out that I didn't know that, they're going to kill the president even before he becomes the president. So but I traveled the whole world to all the big film festivals. That was the film producer. So I brought my world experience into the octagon because in the end of the day, MMA was more of a soap opera than a sport. And you guys be
Yeah,
able to tell the story and create those matches. That's why the WWE is so popular because it's
WC,
fake.
yeah, WWE,
The
yeah,
wrestling,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I
it's
didn't
all
think
fake, but
when I
they
was
tell a
younger,
good
I didn't think
story.
it was fake. I mean, I used to watch it
Yeah,
like it was real.
exactly, and it's about the stories. We feel, the United States. We grew up watching the Olympics. We always have that story. The mother used to walk uphill to go to work 10 miles in the snow, uphill to come back home 10 miles in the snow. The father died of cancer. The mother was. When you see the stories of these people, you'll watch paint dry and root for the guy. And no one
Yeah,
gets that in Brazil. So we tell those stories. And it's like when we interview a fighter, he goes, yeah, my mother had cancer for 10 years. Then my father got run over by a car. And I'm going, yes! Not that I'm happy for him, but yes, because I know now he's going to get a huge following because we get between 1.5 million to 3 million people watching us on TV. He's going to automatically get 3 million new fans
so are
loving
you
him,
guys
which
trying
I'm
to
like,
expand in the US now? Like, is that your goal?
yeah, the original strategy was to come to the States. In 2020, we were set to do Brazil versus US at the Hard
MMA has
Rock
always
Hotel.
been popular in Brazil, hasn't it? Like
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
past, I don't know, 20 years or like
yeah.
it's
So
crazy.
it's. I mean, they say that Brazil invented MMA, right? The Many Gracies were very, very instrumental with the start of UFC. But I gave a casino a $30,000 deposit to do a Brazil US, and then pandemic came, and the casino never gave me my money
Yeah, the
back.
pandemic was terrible for
It
I
was
mean,
terrible. It
yeah,
really, it really hurt me that thing. I mean, it hurt everybody, but we were such a. And the January 2020, we had Charles the Bronx, Charles Oliveira. He did a jiu-jitsu fight in SFT. And then he was going to come back to fight
Oliveira
for the.
came a long way, right? From his early days. I mean, like
Yeah.
he's come a long way. I mean, it's nice to see him being able to get as far as he's been able to get. He's
Yeah,
definitely
the
like
only,
one of the biggest stars in UFC right now. Like for sure, he's up there.
for
Even
sure.
though he's not the champion, I think he's his name overall like carries more than even like guys like Islam when it comes to entertainment. He doesn't
I
speak any
think
English either, right? That's crazy
no,
part.
and that's what drives me insane. And I tell these people, guys, I've been to a few UFC events here, and the Americans hate the Brazilians because of when they open their mouth, they sound like such idiots
Yeah,
that they're not able to
you gotta
get.
learn English. I think that kind of takes you a
Sorry,
bit
and
far.
the new generation is learning English. I mean, they're smart. The new guys coming to the
Like
UFC,
even these
they
Dagestani
speak
guys,
English.
right? These Dagestanis, they speak English, learn English pretty quick. Like they know, like even Habib and these guys. Not even like Brazilians, like all like when he says Oliveira, you seen him like he speaks English perfectly. Like he doesn't have a problem. I think doesn't he? I think he does, right? He looked pretty good out there. I was kind of counting
Cool.
him out against Said. When he says Oliveira, I think
Uh-huh.
he's from Brazil. He's
Right.
definitely one of the rising prospects right now. Well, let's talk about Teixeira, Ellison Teixeira. So, like, I think he's a pretty good prospect. We'll bring him up here on screen. Yeah, I've been watching him in LFA, so I know he's fought for you guys in SFT Combat. So, where'd you guys
Yeah.
like find him?
Yeah. So he did two fights. The secret to our success in Brazil is my thinking outside the box since I'm not from the MMA world, and my matchmaker who gets that to ever good at promotion, you need to put the best of the best fighting with the best of the best. If you're gonna put a guy just to win a fight against a weak fighter, it's not gonna. So he's always looking. He's been great. I mean, he found Carlos Prates, and Teixeira's first fight was an MMA fight. Didn't impress me, but then he came back and he did a second fight in the extreme division, which is we do extreme fights, which is kickboxing fights with MMA gloves in the
Is it
octagon.
hard to find opponents for people like Teixeira who
It's
comes
very
across so
hard.
menacing and so like intimidating?
It's very, not only that, but we don't have heavyweights in Brazil. It's very rare. I think we have done or close to 850 fights. We might have had maybe 5 fights was a heavyweight fight. We can't find anyone. And then to put a fight with someone got to share against a guy that's 0-2, it's pointless. But
Yeah.
I think he's got a good chance with this first fight they gave him. It's
I mean,
not.
this is a
It's
tough
similar.
matchup. I mean, I don't want to be. I want to be honest, right? Like
I think it's
they're kind of
50-50.
trying to set him up here, right? Like, I mean, he's got the length. He doesn't really fight in the pocket. Like he fights in the pocket more than I want to see him fight in the pocket. I want to see him use that length and reach. I heard he's got a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Never seen him use it. So you think he can use it here against Tafa?
Yeah, I think some of these people they save it as the secret weapon for that one fight they really need. But then the secret's out of the bag, and I think everybody, if you see the statistics in UFC, the submissions are way down. I think last year there was only like less than 20% of the fights ended in submission. It's like if you can defend from if you don't have to be a black belt anymore in
I mean,
jiu-jitsu.
people's takedown defense is getting better in this game. I feel like now.
Exactly. If you can defend the takedown and you're a good striker, and I think that's where Carlos Prates is gonna go far, because he's got a pretty good. He's able to defend the takedowns, then no one can go up
We
against him
haven't
in
seen
striking.
his jiu-jitsu yet in the UFC, right? People haven't seen it. I mean, I've seen it
No,
on tape before his UFC days, but doesn't really. I think he's got a pretty good guard game overall. Like he's pretty
exactly.
accurate
He's
from
able
guard.
to. All these guys are able to defend. In the back in the day, if you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu, you're gonna win a fight no matter what. Today, we've had fights. We did a special. Took every fight between jiu-jitsu black belts against Muay Thai kickboxing black belts. And there were
Yeah,
a few kickboxing guys who submitted the black belt jiu-jitsu. MMA has become a sport. Before MMA was a mixture of sports. I think today MMA has really become one sport that incorporates everything.
that's true. So, like, what do you think's next for Prates? Right, he's in the top 10 now, isn't he? Or like top 15, I think.
I think, yeah, he's definitely. I think he's number 9, number 11. I'm not sure. And the whole thing with him smoking cigarettes, I don't know for
I like
sure,
that. I mean, that
but I
makes it.
wouldn't be shocked that he like takes a puff on camera and then dumps a cigarette. Because everybody needs to have a gimmick. My name, David Hudson that we see on
He
TV in
probably does it
Brazil.
like you know how like fighters like they have a fight and take a drink after like one drink
Right.
just to have fun. I feel like that's probably what it is. I mean,
But he's been milking this. I mean,
yeah, he
he's
doesn't
really,
honestly like doesn't even matter for him, right? He doesn't need the cardio. Like he just needs to touch you one time and
that's
it's
also, but
pretty
at
much over
some
from
point,
there.
he's got in kickboxing Muay Thai, he's got over 100 wins. I think he's got like
Yeah.
60 wins by knockout in the first round.
This fight, like I was kind of like when I saw it happen, when I seen him knock on Magny, I was like, this is no way, this is scripted. I mean, the way I seen him hit him, then I seen the replay, I was like, holy shit, he did hit him. Like it wasn't like like the first time you see it in real life. I mean, when you see the replay, you can tell he did touch him. But like
I
the
mean, this
power
guy
this
is
guy
the beast.
generates is crazy. Yeah,
He was fighting at one championship. So when he came back to Brazil, he was unknown in Brazil. One has no visibility. So for 2 years, he wasn't fighting. And for about a year, my matchmaker was trying to get him this and that. We need to get him to fight. We got to make the schedule work. This guy is the beast. So without fighting for 2 years, I didn't really know much about him. But the first fight, you could see this guy is a sniper. He's got patience. He doesn't lose his cool, and he takes his time. And he won 2 titles in SFT.
he
And
doesn't get discouraged. Like that's what I noticed in his UFC debut when he fought what was the guy? I think his name was Giles, Trevin Giles. Yeah, he was
yeah, I don't
like he was
remember.
losing the early exchanges, and he came back, and he wasn't. He found the perfect shot that he found was able to put him away with.
Yeah,
So that was
his mental strength is really really up there. I mean, he's got patience, and you can't trash talk him. You can't get inside of his head. And he's got over 100 Muay Thai fights. He fought for one championship. It's not as big as UFC, but he's fought for big events. He fought in SFT, which is Brazil's biggest event. So he's used to the big show. So his first fight in UFC, for a lot of people, I think, especially for the younger guys, there's a lot of nerves. There's like the
yeah.
world stage. People like Carlos Price, for him, was just another day at work.
Yeah, that's what like this is what I'm wondering with Teixeira. Like, is he gonna be nervous in this fight? Like, he's going over to Australia and making his debut. I mean, that's what I'm wondering, right? Like, he's still young,
Yeah,
right? For a heavyweight, I mean,
he's
he's
very
only a
young, but I
baby.
think heavyweights, the women and the heavyweights, they enter the UFC and much faster than your middleweights and your featherweights. It's the pool is so small.
What
But
do you
we'll
think about
see.
this matchup? I mean, Bruno versus Ols. He has wins over girls that are pretty good. I mean, Alexia Tenara. I know she fought for your promotion in the
Yeah, she
past.
fought.
Yeah, I bet on her
she's
on
our
Dana White
champion.
Tennis Series. Remember I told you I was like, she's gonna win that matchup. She's underdog there, so that was nice to see from.
I'm surprised that took her so long to make it to the UFC. She was a 10-1 when she got to the UFC,
Yeah,
or
she's been training with Hebas and
Marcelo
family.
Rivas.
So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's got it's an all women's team, and he's got some great fighters that coming out of there. But I'm excited about Karine Killer. If you want to talk about
Queenie
Brazilian
Silva,
women,
yeah. I mean, she had
Karine
a one
Silver.
like she made a few mistakes in the third round, but
Yeah,
like
too bad she
she was
lost
very
now,
close to
but
winning that fight. Honestly,
yeah,
I'm not even like disappointed. Honestly, like it happens, right? Like she went up against Viviane Araújo, who's been in the UFC for way longer, has a lot of experience. I mean, she just made a few mistakes. It wasn't Viviana beating her up. It was just like the optics weren't good, right? Like in the third round, you can't be like trying to like pull guard like that. You know how it is. MMA, the way scoring
yeah.
works. You
And
can't do that in the
she's a
third round.
beast.
But
I mean,
yeah,
her debut in the UFC, she
she's
broke
close to finishing
Denise
her.
Gomez's knee, right? And when her debut in SFT, she broke the woman's arm
Yeah, Kellen
here, and this
Souza.
was bent like it was here. And I mean, she's a total beast. Yeah, the big question with her now is, since it's her first loss, how is it going to affect her mentally? I've seen fighters
I think
who
she's
have
pretty
gone,
mentally strong. I don't feel like
yeah,
she's the
I
type
hope
of
so.
girl.
There's fighters where I believe every fighter needs to lose the fight early on in their career. So because some of them, once you go 10-0, 12-0, you believe you're Superman. And when that defeat comes, we've all seen fighters or have never come back from that.
Yeah, it happened with I mean, like it happens a lot. I mean, this year a lot of prospects are losing their O. I mean, this year alone. Like we've seen a lot of people in the UFC. Does it happen in your promotion too? Like a lot of young guys
Yeah,
and they
because
take
where
that and jump up.
we put alls against alls.
Yeah, I've seen fights in your promotion though. Like it's mostly just offense. Like they don't really prioritize defense. Like I've noticed that. Like guys are really
Especially with
ultra
extreme
aggressive.
fighting, and the women are all out. But even in the states, I think in the states the fighters, they pick their fights even more than Brazil. They really want to make sure they're going to win. But because we have the TV reach, which nobody has, cable TV in Brazil is not like the states. So an event that's on cable TV may get 50,000 people watching them. We're getting between 1.5 to 3 million. So fighters are willing to take a risk. So we often get topologies, regional ranking, top five fighting against each other. You'll never see this in Brazil, and in the States. It's rarely will you see number one, number two in topology fighting, because these guys are waiting to get a knock on the door from UFC, and they don't want to risk it. But because of the visibility we're giving, they do it. So we've got matchups that I doubt that
Yeah, I mean, same
many.
thing in India too. Like cricket, I mean, most people just watch cricket on cable TV. I mean, it's the same thing in a lot of these places. I mean, over here, like I pay for like subscriptions. You have to watch on like ESPN Plus and stuff like that over here. But yeah, it's a lot simpler if it was on TV. Cheaper too, right? You don't have to pay a lot of money. I
Yeah, it's
mean,
free. It's free for people. So that's in Brazil. I believe that when the UFC last time UFC was on ESPN, they had under 1 million people watching on ESPN. It was a preliminary, obviously. That
which
not
card was
comparing.
it? I think it was that
This is
RoboCop and Bruno Ferreira was on that card, wasn't it? Or
I
something like
can't
that.
remember. I was looking for that just before.
Bonfim, and Dalby was on that card, I think.
Oh,
And Almeida, yeah, Jonathan Almeida and Dirk Lewis. Was that the last card in Brazil? Maybe
I
I'm.
need to look it up. So, anyways, in Brazil, we got almost 2 million people watching us. In the States, ESPN had about 1 million. So, we're really strong for Brazil. I'm not saying anywhere close to the UFC, but our numbers are good, and we have our numbers are new
So you
guys,
guys
new
have a
people
TV
too.
deal, right? You guys have a TV deal. Like, is that something you need when you're starting MMA promotion? Like, how important is
I
that?
would, if it wasn't for the TV deal, I wouldn't be doing this. I'm not interested in having a small promotion that is just barely making it, and I got to sell fights. Fighters want to build a good record that they'll pay to
Yeah,
fight.
you don't want to
I'm
waste their fighters' time either, right? You want to
No,
you want to promise
my
them, you want to get
goal
them there.
And I don't want to be. I don't want to be a farm sending fighters out to the UFC or to Bellator. I want to have a good promotion. And I think because of the TV deal that we got, because of our 25-year in the film business, the relationship we built with the TV station, and the TV deal, and because it's Brazil, where the dollar it's $1 is $6. It's everything there is 20% of the cost that is over here. So I'm putting an event in Brazil, and you've seen my events we don't lose much to the UFC as far as production goes. So 20% of the cost with some of the best fighters in the world. So I had a unique opportunity to really be able to do a promotion that becomes known globally. And there's money for everybody. I don't think about the UFC. No one can touch the UFC, but you can still have a living because my costs are so low that I can have a promotion that I can make some money and change the lives of many people, which we've been doing already.
Yeah, I just gotta turn on the comments. I think I turned off the comments by mistake on the on the live stream, so that's why like people are like, I gotta figure that out. I mean, maybe it doesn't normally I use OBS. I mean, when I stream, so
Uh-huh.
I don't know what's going on here, but yeah. So I don't know if let me see if I can turn on the comments here somewhere.
Oh yeah, there's no commenting here.
Yeah, it's not, it didn't turn on for some reason. Normally it turns on every time when I go live. I
Hmm.
don't know what the deal is on this live stream. You
Yeah,
stream
but
through
interesting to
OBS or
see.
like
No, I use Wirecast, which is
Wirecast?
it's the best one, but it's also the most expensive one. But it's basically you have a
Okay,
TV
okay.
studio, and I've used there's another one that people use for Streamlabs. Is also very good.
Yeah, Streamlabs. I mean, that's Streamer. That's what I'm using right now. Normally it
Yeah, but
works. I mean,
Streamlabs let you do horizontal and vertical. So when I use Streamlabs, I go live on Instagram and on YouTube. So and then I have the proper the 9 by 16 format on Instagram, and then it's good. Those two are good. This one I'm not familiar with this, but
yeah, I just
yeah,
use this because like a lot simpler than using OBS. OBS, you gotta do everything manually. So that's the only reason I use it. It's okay. I mean, if it doesn't work, it's okay. We'll do another stream sometime.
also
Make
now
sure
to
that
get
we get the
the
comments.
chat up. It would be cool to see if there's anybody from Brazil watching, but it's okay.
All right, let's talk about Kelvin Souza now. Kelvin Souza. So she's got a fight coming up against Angela Hill soon, who's a veteran in the UFC. I mean, not an easy matchup. I mean, if you
No,
ask me, what do you think
and
about that matchup against Angela Hill?
let me open that up over here so
Angela
you'll
Hill is
see.
favored on the odds right now, minus 170, I think.
Kathleen is her nickname is Kentadinha. She's like
Yeah,
the
I
hot
mean,
headed
I
one.
actually bet against her on our last matchup. I bet the Mexican girl Herdigui.
And I
And
told you that she was going to win
I
that one.
found out pretty quick. That was like took me under a minute to find out. I think it was like pretty quick there.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, Angela, it's a tough matchup.
Angela
15
Hill
and
is like way
4.
tougher. She has a chin on her. She can take a beating. I mean, like she's got
She's a lot
cardio.
a lot more experience. She's 40 years old, but I think 4 years old today doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah,
It's not
she
like it
doesn't
used to
fight
be.
like she's 40 years old. I mean, I've seen like I haven't seen that like her like fall off like other 40-year-old fall off sometimes. But yeah, let's talk about I wanna ask you about Israel Adesanya. Like, what do you think? What's next for him, Israel?
Yeah, it was 4 straight losses now, right? Is it 3 or 4? It's
It's like 3 losses, I think, in a
Yeah,
row.
I mean, but he put on a good fight.
Yeah,
He
he's
didn't
looking
get
good
beat.
already. That's the
He was
problem.
looking
Like,
good. So it's like if he looked bad, I'm going, okay, this guy is done. But it's one of those things. Yeah, he put a good fight and he lost. I think he still can come back and still have a good career.
what do you
And
think the motivation is? Like, after you already been the champion, you have all this money that you already made. Like, now you can just go up, show up, and I mean, do whatever you want and make all this money. You don't have to win. It's not the main priority anymore.
but I think if you become a professional sports athlete, doesn't matter if it's MMA, NBA, soccer, whatever it is, that was your passion. That's what you did 24/7. For you to make it to this far, you have to give up everything in life. You have to give up your friends. You have to give up dating. So it's not
Give up
like
dating too.
somebody.
When
What?
he tried, is he said he didn't like I think what was it called? He didn't sleep with the girl for the whole training camp because he was trying to like Does that help? Have you heard
I
anything
don't know
like
if
that from any
you
fighters
know,
before?
every time the World Cup comes around, there's a whole debate. Like the Brazilian national team, they're allowed to have sex, but the British team is not allowed to have sex. I don't know if that makes a difference. But going back to Izzy, I think that and we see that a lot of big sports with athletes, they retire way too late. They go past their prime
Like Habib,
because
right? Habib retired just in time. I mean, like,
he's one of the few. Also, I got criticized because Habib. I never would have hired Habib based on his record because when he first started, he was
yeah.
taking all these fights to build a. He's one of the few guys who had a fake win loss record, who was the kick-ass fighter. Because most of those guys who did, so I would have lost him if he came to me and he goes, "I'll fight for you for free." When he was early on his career, like 10-1, 10-0,
Yeah, no one
I
knew
would have
him
said
back
no.
then. I mean, no
Nobody
one.
knew him back then, but you know, I mean,
He's pretty much like he's pretty much like the pioneer over there, like in Dagestan. Like after Habib beat Connor, I mean, like that's where like people really like oh, well Dagestan this year like hasn't really been going well for them this year. What do you think? I mean, they've been struggling this year. The cardio.
the cardio is always a big thing. You know, and it's I think a lot of people when they become very talented, they think they don't like you were saying college practice doesn't need a cardio. At some point, you're going to need a cardio, and it's a shame to lose because we have at SFT we have this team we call semi pros, which is for the amateurs to fight a fight in the pro rules in the big
Maybe I can
show
come over there and fight someone.
and
Maybe
fight. Yeah,
you can find me
but the
some.
point of this is so they can get tested in a pro fight, but with doesn't count the record. So we have this guy Guriloso, he was 10-0, 10, 11-0 in MMA in the amateur. So he did a semi-pro fight and he lost. And we told him, listen, dude, your cardio. Your cardio was what killed you. So he took a year off from fighting and he worked in his cardio, came back, he won his next semi-pro fight, and now he's 2-0 and he's a beast. So cardio is it's very important.
So like,
I think
what's more
cardio,
important, power or like cardio, like overall? Like,
I
if you,
guess
it doesn't matter
power,
if you don't have
right?
power, right? Power, you can end the fight in one shot,
Yeah, you got to
right?
get your left hand. You know, we one of our best all time fighters was Manuel Souza. Just needed to
Oh,
get one
Manel
hand
Souza,
in.
I know that guy. I know
Yeah, he's the one that beat Rule. The only
he's nasty,
lost the
bro. Isn't
Roof he
he
has
like a
had in his
Muay Thai
life.
world striker? Well, I think it's a world
Yeah,
champion, right?
he was undefeated in
He
kickboxing.
still
He
is,
was
isn't he?
undefeated.
Manuel Souza.
Manuel Souza. He just lost his first fight at Bellator a couple months ago. But you know, he was losing to Rufi, and then he got his hand in there and he
Yeah, I
won.
watched. I think it was that Rufi fight. Wasn't he winning that fight, or was he losing that
Rufi
fight?
was winning. Actually, the only time I've ever saw Manuel Souza get taken down was by Rufi. And I think Rufi got a bit cocky, the trash talk between the two of them. And
Yeah,
as
this.
president, I try not to show favoritism, but when Manuel was the one that fight, the thing on the cameras around me, it was obvious I was going for Manuel Souza. I was like, yeah, I was like
We
a
lost to
mega
Archie
fan.
Kogan. Archie Kogan is a really good wrestler. I mean, that's not even a bad loss. Like, did he just take him down? Is that what happened there?
I didn't
Archie
see that
Kogan.
fight, but
Archie Kogan is one of the better wrestlers in Bellator or PFL, whatever it is. Bellator's no more, right? I think it's PFL now.
yeah, and I wonder what's going to be with him because they can't
Yeah, like
absorb
what's
all the
going on?
Bellator.
They're not getting anyone fights right now. Like Patchy Mix and Pitbull, all these guys are like just sitting on the sidelines. No one
Yeah, like, a
can
lot
get
of
a
people
fight.
they want it out of Bellator. I mean, it's from what I hear, Bellator, the PFL was pretty much bankrupt, and their talent more than putting fights is getting investors. I don't know if it's a fact, just the buzz I hear people talking about it. You know, I'm an outsider to the MMA. I'm actually I'm in Brazil. I'm hated by the MMA bubble.
Really?
The guy, I'm hated because when I started the MMA, that I started SFT, all the big guys go, David, you're doing this wrong. You got to be more like Dana White. You got to do the A, B, C, and D. And I will tell them all this and respectfully. No, if you know what you're talking about, because there's no reason why Brazil doesn't have one of the top 10 or even top 5 promotions in the world. So you guys have no clue. So if I do what you're telling me, it's a recipe for disaster. My way, thinking outside the box, may fail, but at least I have a fighting chance.
I mean, that's what Dana White said did, right? Dana White, I mean, early days, no one believed in Dana White in the early days.
No
No
one,
one
no one
did.
believed in me, and there were like I know of like 3 or 4 WhatsApp groups dedicated to talking bad about me. And
What's up,
6 years later,
really?
I'm the only one that's pretty much still alive. You know, we get huge numbers. We've done a show in the States, we've done a show in Mexico. We want to finish the year with another show in the States. And
You guys
if
should
we do
bring a show over to Canada. I mean, you don't know how big like MMA is in Canada here, like huge, huge.
One of my favorite fighters, I'm a huge fan, is Aaron Jeffrey out of Canada.
Aaron Jeffrey, oh man,
I love the
I
guy.
don't
I
like
love
I
the
don't like
guy.
watching him fight. He's so
You
like
know?
clinch heavy, like it's just
Yeah,
he's
but I
tough though.
just
Like
like
he's
I like
tough.
his personality. He's talking about physical conditioning and stamina.
Yeah, he's
This
got
guy,
crazy cardio. He can push a pace like that, but he's just so boring. Like I can't
yeah,
stand
it's
watching
I
that
just
guy
I
fight.
like him as a person because he fought at SFT the US. He fought against a Brazilian fighter and he knocked the shit out of the guy. And even though I was going for obviously I went to Brazil to win the fight, but I was happy. And he was a lot of these big name fighters who make UFC or Bellator, they're all scheduled to come back and fight with us. And I guess UFC is watching him at SFT and they go, we don't want him back in there. Bring him here, bring him here. Karine Silva, she was a week off from defending the title. Kathleen Souza was, we had just signed up with her to defend her title. Andrea Mascori, Andrea Lima, the guy with the bite, he was about to defend his title. We have our big, and I always joke, don't tell anybody we have these fighters because the biggest problem we have is holding the big names. But
Yeah,
Rufi
because
is a beast.
yeah, Rufi, like this guy, like he was close to finishing his last opponent, Line Top. I don't these South American guys, man, like their chin is just built different. Like I don't know, like what you got hit him with. Like he couldn't
And
like
he's got some moves that we don't typically
yeah,
see.
Rufi, like he fights like Connor, like he has the same like
Yeah.
he's really like flows out there. That's what I really like about Rufi. His cardio, the third round. I mean, he was trying to finish the guy, so like maybe it was because of that he didn't really manage the cardio because he wasn't expecting to go the distance there.
He has an
But
issue. He's known to having cardio problems.
yeah, I remember watching him on a Dana White Contender Series over that Russian guy, and he just broke him with the pace. I mean, just broke him. That what was the guy's name? Magomed Ali, I think his name was. Yeah, so that's where I found out about Rufi. I didn't know much about him before that.
Yeah, we know he because he lost someone else, Souls, he never wanted to come back to SFT. That happens a lot with us when these people with all records they lose at SFT, then they won't come back and they just don't
Because
want
they
to take
want
a
to go
second.
build up their record. Is
Yeah, they
that
want
what
to
it
go to the
is?
record, and they know that we're not gonna win. I get calls all the time, President. I represent this fighter, and y'all
Do
pay you
people
to let him
ask you
fight
for like easy matchups? Is that how
all
it
the
is
time.
sometimes?
Early on,
Okay.
when I was still new and I was learning about the business, I get a call from at the time the guy was one of the top rated for Brazilian fighters, huge name, and he goes, President, I love what you do in SFT. I won't do anything I can to help you guys. I'll fight for free. I go, oh my God, this is huge. He's gonna bring me, but there's a condition. I want to fight against this guy. So I want to look up.
Oh,
I go, dude, even if you paid me $1 million, you're never gonna fight at SFT. If you want to fight at SFT, great. If you want to help me, if you really mean what you say, great. But I'm going to pick the fighter, not you. But there are a lot of promotions who do that. Or do they sell? And I don't understand it. This mentality. You build up these kids where they believe they're tough because they're 10-0. But it's a 10-0 that's my daughter can probably beat. You
I
send
mean,
them out to the
we had a
UFC,
bunch of
they
guys
lose
on.
2 or 3 fights, and then they're done. That's it for the career.
I mean, we had a bunch of guys like. I mean, it happens. Like even with Gaziev. I mean, we had a heavyweight Gaziev last. He lost his first fight, then he retired right after. Then he came back after a few months. This happen? It happens a lot, right? With MMA fighters, like they take their first out, then they retire, then they come back. Like
Yeah, and, some never come back. We have a fight, Brigagal, that he lost in the Contender Series. He
oh,
was doing great.
To Lopez, or who was it?
No, what's his
Brigagao, right?
name?
Well, didn't he just fight Rebellion to Spain or in Karate Combat? Isn't
Yeah,
that the guy?
yeah. I never saw someone get knocked out, beat up.
Why would he take that fight? Honestly, I don't understand.
I don't know what he was thinking about. And the thing is, if you look at his he had a great career. He was 11 and
He's
0.
actually pretty tough, man. I remember I had to go back and watch him fight Jamal Pogues like a long time ago. He's actually pretty tough though,
Yeah, but
but
when he lost to Jamal, that was the end of his career. If you see after that loss, he was seriously thinking about retiring, and then he hasn't been able to win. He came back, he's lost. He was 11 and 0 in that fight, and then he's lost 7 of the next 9 fights. This is a guy that mentally just broke down, and he fought for the title of SFT, and he won one fight, and then he lost the one more fight, and he came back and did another fight. But this is a kid who's great talent, but the head just he wasn't able to keep it going.
So
And
yeah, I
it's
mean that's
sad when you
true. Some
see
of
like
these
people with
sometimes this
like,
is a team, right? Just a team you're with. I feel like if you're with the right team, like Ruffy's with Fighting Nerds, and this team's on fire right now. If you're just with the right people, I feel like that has a lot to do with it.
you
Uh,
know, Friday nerds are amazing, but they're killing us because they let
why is that?
everybody they let everybody go and train at the Friday. So even people that are not part of the team, they'll go there once or twice a week for sparring. So nobody in Sao Paulo wants to fight against each other because they all train together. The fighting nerds.
You know what I noticed about Fighting Nerds? Like if you lose a fight, they won't like share your. They won't like they'll keep like ghost you from the pictures. Like they don't post the pictures with you after that. Like I've
I don't know if
noticed
the
that about
Americans do
Fighting
that, but in
Nerds.
Brazil, they all do that. Any fight I do, no one posts anything when they lose. They keep it a secret. They some of them even delete the fact that they did fight, so nobody knows that they lost. You know,
Yeah.
losing is part of MMA. It's I think that a lot of the fighters lose their career because I'm at the I'm 1 foot away from the UFC. I'm gonna wait, and then they wait 2 or 3 years and
Like a
nothing ever
Tony, right? You know
happens.
Tony, like what's the name of Tony? He fought Alex Pereira like back in like a long time ago. Let me see if I can pull it
Oh,
up
come
here.
on, yeah, the guy that at the contender
Yeah,
series like
yeah,
5 minutes.
he was supposed to fight on a contender series. Actually I was picking him to win there. And
Yeah,
he had an anxiety attack.
you
I
know
mean I'm
he fought at SFT one time. He got submitted in the first round
he's the
for a
only guy
year.
that beat Alex Pereira, MMA other than
And that
Izzy.
you know that's his call to fame. But it's he he's a good fighter, but he does. You can tell that he's always had like some mental problem. Not that he's crazy, but
He leaves a lot of
in the
openings on the feet. His striking defense needs work, but yeah, he's tough though. Like he took some clean shots from Pereira,
but
some big
apparently what I've
fucking
heard was
guns.
that he was trying to get out of the fight for the whole week, and his team didn't let him. So you know, this coach obviously the coach. I blame more the coach than him for what happened. Coach should have. The coach knows that their father is better than their parents, better than their wives. No one knows their father is better than the coach. If this is not something that just came up at the moment, obviously he's been having issues. When I went through my divorce, I had a lot of mental issues. That was and it's crazy because when your mind doesn't work and you logically I know that what I'm thinking and I'm doing makes no sense, but you just can't control it. And
I mean, that's
it
gotta
doesn't
be the most
just
important thing, right? Like having like really strong mind. Overall, like really strong mindset is not like the one of the most important things in MMA
it's more.
overall.
Yeah, I think you know the difference between the number one and number 100 in MMA. I think it's the mind more than anything. My first UFC event I ever went to, I was really good friends with Marco Perez, Marcus Pezão, not the big Pezão, the other Pezão. And he hadn't fought for almost 2 years because he was caught with the anti-doping. They caught him with marijuana, so they gave him an 18-month suspension. So he was coming from a loss, 18-month suspension. He needed to win this fight. And he has this thing when he goes into a fight, gives a punch to the floor. He broke his arm walking into that fight,
I mean, that
and he
happen
won.
that happens
And
to
he
a lot
won.
of fighters. I feel
Yeah, and
like
he won that fight. And I remember 2 hours before the fight, I went to his room, and I was so nervous. And he was like, "I go, dude, I can't be so relaxed. This is so important." And I was putting more stress on him. So all this, and the guy still won the fight. That's 100%
so. Like as a
clear.
promoter, like do you want one fighter to win more than the other, right? Like that's the way it is, or like
No,
you don't
no, because
care.
but what I need the best fight. So when somebody tunes in and watches me, they go, "Whoa, that's a freaking good fight." So for me, I don't. You're the only event big event in Brazil. We don't represent fighters. All these guys that come out of the SFT to the UFC, I don't get a penny from them, unfortunately. You know, as opposed to my competition, they do. So for me, it's about really putting the best fights on, and putting those matchups where you think the guy is an underdog, and then he knocks out one of the top fighters in Brazil in the first round. That's what it is. It's about good fights where you can't tell who's going to win.
That's
There was
true. I mean,
on Topology, they have a thing that you can pick who wins the fights.
yeah, yeah,
So
I do that. I do
so
pick.
I
I
do the
make
fight. I
picks.
like to do that when my some of the other promotions fight. The last one I did, I got 14 out of 15 correct.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have a crystal
I do
ball
that for
because
other fighters.
it's a joke. When the owner of an organization
My
says,
channel, I make picks, right? That's what I do. We bet on fights
"Yeah,
we try to make money. That's what we try to do here. I mean, it's fun. Like I don't know. I used to watch MMA, like not bet on him, but like it makes it more fun betting on fights and like trying to make
yeah,
money on it.
we're trying really hard I think if there's any promotion in Brazil that
Yeah,
has
I was trying to bet on your promotion. I couldn't find any book that offered.
there's no event in Brazil, but I'm in talks right now with somebody that's really influential in that world to see if we're able to get the online
I
betting
think
to get us.
betting like it makes it more popular. Like most people are
Yeah,
getting more
right,
clear
right. I
into it,
mean,
and
we will overnight we will become an
like
American
I
an
bet on
American.
LFA a lot. LFA is like one of the best promotions that I make like more money on than UFC. UFC is like tougher. I feel
You have
than
seen stuff LFA, you it's more
like you can
it's
like
easier to
yeah, easier
yeah,
to like because there's like
easier to pick.
yeah, like this fight right here, like this guy. I'm excited for Marcos. I think he's gonna be in the UFC soon. Like he's only got was up to beat Lima, right? Was that how long was that SFT like 2020?
Yeah, that was his was an amateur fight, wasn't a professional fight.
Yeah, it was amateur fight.
Yeah, he's fought jiu-jitsu, he's fought extreme, he's fought MMA, he's fought he was won a title. He's hosted our TV shows, he's commentated the guy is that we just had him again in the studio. Him and Carlos Prates and Karina Silva are the three fighters who made it UFC who didn't forget the SFT history. They'll when we
Yeah,
tag them,
I
they'll
seen Training
share.
Silva. Like it's I mean that's the way like you're helping them get there, right? Like now they're paying
Yeah,
you.
a lot of these people once they make it, they don't want to know about us. They'll never. When the Carlos Prates belt was up, we had him come as a host, and I had him put the belt on the new champion. He turned the belt, so it was handed down from the actual champion. So that was amazing. It brings us visibility, which is what we need. We're on Saturday nights at the same time UFC is on, so I'm competing head on with the UFC. So when someone like Carlos Prates or Karina Killer or Higgy or mascots. In Brazil we use the nicknames. We don't use the real names. Here, and it's very confusing because we put on the graphics. We'll put killer, we'll put mascot, but
Yeah, the
some
nickname.
commentators will say the real names, and
Yeah,
then
it's
people go,
like if
"Who's
people aren't
fighting? Who's?"
aware, like I think you should put the full name there. It's better. I feel like
Yeah,
that.
but in Brazil, people know the nicknames more than the full name. If you do the full,
Oh, okay,
if
okay.
I do full names, I won't even. Sometimes I'm looking at a fight, and it's the first time I go, "What the heck is this fighter? I don't recognize his name." And then I gotta call my matchmaker, and he goes, "No, that's ugly cat. Oh, ugly cat. Okay,
All right,
it's
give
just
us your
like
picks. I want you. Can you make predictions on this card? Give us like 5 picks on the main card. Do you ever
which
make
card?
picks? Who do you think's winning this one? Do you ever watch
You know,
these guys fight before? Do you drink a
I'm
super
gonna
C?
be very honest. I'm a UFC idiot.
You don't know much about UFC. This
Because
guy's the funniest cell you're ever gonna watch. Drink a super C. You gotta watch him at least once.
no,
Crazy.
I do watch American. The thing is that when I entered MMA, I never watched a fight. I've been to a bar once. We watched a fight. I was in the chair with the back to the TV because I didn't care about it. So now I love it. But because on Saturday nights, I have a tough time watching the UFC. So it's the I've learned most I've learned about MMA with the UFC is watching your YouTube videos because it's and I'm gonna tell you, you probably should charge me a fee because you're like my coach teaching me about the
Really,
MMA.
really, that's good to know.
So I'm able to put great matchups. I know the Brazilian fighters. I don't know UFC that close, and I do. I have friends who fight at the American Top Team. Every once in a while, they'll come here to watch the fight, and I'm the guy that's like running around with hors d'oeuvres and getting the snacks. And they're like on TV, and it's like, no, guys, I gotta watch SFT. So I'm watching SFT on my Samsung pad while they're watching UFC on TV. So it's. I know your channel
I mean,
is
it's
to
on
pick them.
YouTube. People can check it out on YouTube. Like you guys stream it on YouTube, right? Like
Yeah,
it's live on YouTube.
it's live on YouTube, and hopefully this year will be live in English as well. Thanks to you.
It's
You even
good.
make
This
me
is
spend that
yeah,
money.
guys. Make sure you guys go check it out. You guys have a bunch of different like channels, right? Like USA channel, and then there's another
The
one.
USA channel I haven't updated in a while, but there's a lot of English. And actually, on Thursday, it'd be great if you can give us the little shout out. There's MMA Today. It's a YouTube channel. We're gonna run 24 hours of SFT in English, starting I think 10
Yeah,
a.m. from
English.
Thursday.
That's like the one thing I don't like because I don't understand Brazilian. So like when I'm
Yeah,
watching the fight, the commentary, like it's just kind of like it's not like I mean, I'm so used to like English commentary, so
Yeah,
like
exactly. So that's why this year I want to start English. But if you want to watch them, yes, 15 English, Thursday 10 a.m. to Friday 10 a.m. 24 hours of everything we've got in English. We
what
put
about
together.
live events in English? I mean, get a
No, that's
translator.
fine. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
To
okay.
start live events in English. I've been
I think
testing out some.
that would be really good.
Be great. It would be great. Yeah, I definitely want to do it. We did it. We did 5 pay-per-view events on Fight on the website, Fight website, but nobody knew who we were. It was early on, and nobody ever turned on. But I definitely want to come back in English this year on YouTube, on Facebook, and even Instagram.
Yeah, like DK said right here. I mean, just people like most people that watch my channel, I feel like they're from the States or like from Canada. I mean, only like 10% are from Canada. Mostly just people from the States, I feel like. But yeah, MMA is growing right now more
Oh,
than
DK,
anything.
you know, if he's any good, we could definitely do that. I can give you the script that we give the commentators. As it's like, I never realized the commentators are idiots. They don't know anything what they're talking
Well,
about. They
they
have a
don't
cheat. They
do
have
they
a cheat
watch
sheet
the
in
do they
front of
read the
them.
script really? They don't just go off like watching the fights. That's the way
No,
I
because
do
in
it.
Brazil it's very the main commentator, the narrator does, but most of the facts, all the facts, they have a cheat sheet in front of them. So we'll get you a cheat sheet. We can try to do an event like that and see how that goes.
Yeah, I didn't know they were
If
reading a
you
fucking script.
and DK wants to do that, I'm 100% up for that.
So they're just reading a paper, like is that really?
Yeah, I mean, it's not they're not reading the paper, but they'll go back to it. So when they walk in, we're the only event in Brazil that when the fighter does his walk in, we'll talk about their history, so fans can find out a little bit about them, and we'll mention even my biggest comparative. The guy was the Jungle Fight champion. We'll say he did 3 fights, a Jungle Fight. Is it actually Jungle Fight? We have no problems. I want the sport to grow. So even though the competitors, whenever I can give anybody a little bit of love, I'll give a little bit of love. And
Do you watch any other sports, or do you just like only just cover MMA? I mean,
what?
do you watch like soccer, like football, or like hockey or
Since
anything
I
like that?
started SFT, I don't have a life. It's I started film. I graduated in film and photography. I have a hard time finding good people in Brazil, so I still edit a lot of the videos, especially the ones talking about the fighters. I do all of our artwork. I write all of our marketing materials. I write all of our scripts. I think I'm not posting anymore, so I don't. So it's my kids, SFT.
So are your kids MMA? Like, do they watch MMA too, or they're not into
They're
it?
they're not really into it. Now they're dating. They're dating a
Okay,
Cuban and a
okay.
Mexican. So now I don't even think they remember who I am. Now I just have a daughter. But it's cool. They've been to a couple events in Brazil. I want to take them again this year. They loved it. They loved more seeing people stop me in the street for an autograph than actually watching the fights. They thought it was the coolest thing. People asking to take pictures with them as well. They go, "Oh no, because get your kids in the picture." And they were like, "Oh my god, Dad, they want a picture of us." He goes, "Yeah, you're like the president's son." People call me president in Brazil. Everywhere I go, presidente, presidente. It's I tell you, in the beginning it was weird, but I love it. It's like, yeah,
This
my
fight
name is
was crazy. I
presidente.
remember watching this one. This one was
This fight,
insane.
this fight is great. Somebody wrote here about Kachau. Kachau was the midget that knocked out the Ben 10 in the last event. But this guy, Kiwi, he
They're
burnt
asking
like
if you're
that.
hiring. Rami said this dude's got to be hiring.
I'm looking for fighters from the US who have the balls to come to Brazil and fight. And we don't want to bring anybody to lose. So it's going to be 50-50. We'll pay for all travel expenses, him and his coach. There will be a purse comparable to a US purse, not based on the Brazilian purses. I will pay them what the Americans are getting paid. And so far, no one has had the guts. So, guys, if you have the balls to do a good fight in Brazil,
Listen close. Listen close. I just need to find me a Brazilian mommy, so maybe I can go there to Brazil if I find one of those.
hey, if we do end up, we're hoping to do a December event in the States. You'll definitely have to be there for that one.
For sure.
I'll fly you down, and you'll be our English commentator.
Let's go. Let's go. I'll be down for that. Like States. I've never gone to a UFC win. I mean, I was gonna go to one in the UFC, like in Vancouver, for UFC 297, but the main one was pretty horrible. I didn't feel like
Mhm.
going.
I
Like
just heard that it looks like UFC is canceling the Brazil event this year. They're not going
really.
to Brazil anymore. It's
I,
nice. That's not official, but I heard that they're deciding
I
not to
want to
do it
ask
this
you
year.
something as a promoter. Like, I always like wonder like why like WMA main events, right? Like, Why is it necessary to have a WMA main event? I know you guys are trying to build up the names and all of that, but like
To have a what?
as a like MMA like matchmaker, like they have a like a win right like card UFC card, then they have WMA headlining the card, like women's MMA 5 rounds main event. Like, do we really need to see that? Like, or can we just like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm outside of the box. I don't do anything that everybody else is doing. And that's why I'm hated. The hardcore fans. We have a mascot. It's my twin brother on steroids, basically. The mascot is solely for the people in the arena. US,
oh, mascot.
the football in the States has a mascot, basketball has a mascot, baseball, the mascots, it's part of American culture. So we put it in the stadium in Brazil. And the biggest criticism I get from hardcore fans, what's this stupid president with a mascot? Doesn't affect the fight, seeing that on TV. This is for the kids. We have a kids event. We have a family. My MMA event is a family event. We have the mascot. We have virtual reality game for the kids. There's definitely something on there that you can find with the mascot.
What about pillow fighting? I've seen that stuff, right? You
Yeah,
see that?
pill fight. I couldn't believe it. The owner is a good friend of mine.
Do you guys pay people for that, or do you just like you don't get paid for that?
I actually had to talk to the owner and go, dude, man, you got in Brazil, you can't be paying what you're paying. You're gonna make all of the MMA event die. People just gonna fight because he was paying more to these bill fighters than we were paying at MMA fighters. But yeah, and again, you have some, I've tried it.
Have you seen other stuff in Russia? Like in Russia, they're doing like
In the phone
fat
booth or
old
in the
guy
car
versus like 2 girls. I mean, like
5-on-5. The Russians
or
are nuts.
car fighting. I mean, they have guys sitting in the car. They're fighting each other. Like it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy.
Now explain to me what's with the slapping that Dana White does.
Slap.
Do people watch really that? Is that something that it's like a personal?
I used to at first, but it got really boring quick.
I mean, I don't know. God, if you're slapping women's butts, I can understand. But slapping,
Okay. I mean, I'd
I
be
think there
down
was
for
a
that.
Russian event that did that, like slapping women's butt.
I'd be down for that.
I had a friend, his Brazilian friend was a promoter here in town. He would do pool parties, and his thing was this trademark. He would slap women's butts and take a picture with a hand mark on the butt. And all the girls wanted to get a slap by him so they can be on his history. I mean, he was a pretty big influencer back in the day.
Damn, you guys got some freaks over there, right? In Brazil. Damn. All right.
But listen,
Yeah.
don't tell this Brazilians. Never date a Brazilian.
Really?
Stay far away. Yeah, don't date Brazilians. Sorry, women, if any women are watching. My experience is super nice people. They know how to take care of you guys, but the jealousy is just insane jealousy.
Really?
It doesn't make any. If you'll be walking down the street and some girl from 2 blocks away just happens to look towards your direction, you get slapped by your girl. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What are we talking about? That woman was looking at you. How long have you been fucking her? Like, what are you talking about?
What do you think about Dana White slapping his wife back? You seen that?
Yeah, I saw that.
He's just promoting power slap, I feel like. Isn't that what it is?
And the thing is, we're all human beings. And we'll all, I've had my bad day. I went through a really bad divorce. We were partying too much drugs going on when we were getting divorced. I've done stupid stuff. She did stupid stuff. You can't base someone's life on that. I don't know him personally. If he does a lot of that, that's something else. But if it's a one-off,
maybe you guys get a party together, you and Dana White. I mean, I think you guys probably get along pretty well. Yo, thank you, Nate Brown, for the membership gifted. Appreciate you guys, man. Let's go. We got Grimy also with 9 months of membership. Thank you, brother. Let's fucking go.
Thanks.
Yeah, let's.
The other day, I was asked what's like my biggest wish for this year. Get me on Joe Rogan for 2 minutes.
Joe Rogan, yeah.
Rogan. If I can have 2 minutes of Joe Rogan show, then my plan of making it to the States would be fast-tracked. Like he did with that gum, that gum he talked about, and then they blew up. And they weren't even sponsors. He just liked to talk about it. Joe Rogan, talk about SFT, please. I beg you. I'll give
Joe
you
Rogan's the man. He's, I mean, I remember him working for the UFC like for free back in the day. Like they come a long way, Joe Rogan.
He's a very smart guy, and I study him.
His commentary is kind of annoying sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Like he's too much for like a jiu-jitsu nerd. Like if someone goes for a leg lock, he's like, "Oh no, he's got it. He's got the leg lock. It's over." It's like
But
so annoying sometimes. But
I
I
see
like
him
Joe
more
Rogan though.
as a kid, with like a big fan of MMA who happens to be Dana White's friend. So he's there, but he's great. You know, he's the highest
He's
paid
good for the sport. I feel like for me
for
overall,
sure.
definitely good for
And I
him.
tried for a long time to find someone kind of like a Joe Rogan type thing. It's like your everyday guy that it's hard. It's hard. Try to get we do a kiss cam, and I've been trying. If I'm not at the event,
What was that? Did you say kiss cam?
we do a kiss cam when we're on commercial breaks or between fights. We'll do a kiss cam, and we'll pay 200 reais to the best kiss of the night. And
So you guys gonna pay me to kiss a girl over there in Brazil?
yeah,
Really?
yeah, for sure.
I mean,
And
that's
and our commentator is married to our reporter, so it was one event. It's like, guys,
this thing's
uh, you know what?
damn.
NBA does the kiss cam, and then NFL also does the kiss cam. So we do the kiss cam there, and I offer 200 reais, so we get some.
You know what
Really,
would really bring out more fans, like more like people from like the West, if you had like a girl twerking between every round. You know how they have like the ring girls coming out and walking out. If you had like a girl
yeah.
twerking in the middle, that would be better
And I
overall.
don't know. We've had ring boys actually in SFT because it's
Rainbow.
October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We do an all women's event. So for those, a couple of times we had the ring girls' boyfriends walked with them together, so they would like go in opposite direction and cross each other around the octagon. And the women loved it. All the men in the event came present. I hate you. The fuck are you doing? I don't want to look at men. I go, good dude, you get to look at women all year. Let your wife have a little bit of fun. She's not gonna sleep with them. Like, you're not gonna sleep with the woman either. So like, chill out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, man. I gotta get up in the morning, but it was
All right.
nice
Let me
talking
ask
with
you
you. We'll
just
do this. We'll do this again. We'll do this again.
and
And
we'll move
you,
over. I just have
yeah,
one question for you again, boys.
go ahead for sure.
It's a quick question. Then I want to see what you think about this. King Kong, he's our light heavyweight champion. He's fought 6 divisions, and we have Soldado, who is our middleweight champion. We're gonna have a fight where they're gonna walk in with the belts. Both belts are gonna be on the line, so it's gonna be like we're gonna do a catch weight in between the two weights, and whoever wins is gonna walk out with the 2 belts. What do you think? I don't think it's
Is it
ever been
like
done.
is it like MMA fight or like mixed rules?
MMA fight is an
You guys
MMA
have
fight.
mixed rules, right? I've noticed that you guys do a lot of mixed rule fights.
The extreme fighting is a mixed rule, but it's an
Extreme
MMA
fighting,
fight.
yeah. I like that. I like that. So this is an
Extreme
MMA
fights,
fight.
extreme fight. So what do you think of that?
When
Like,
is it taking place? When is it happening?
this probably we're working out the schedule about April. It should happen.
Yeah, I mean we can talk about it. I mean we'll do a like stream before the fight
Yeah, I think
happens.
it definitely. I know the hardcore people are gonna hate me for that. The King Kong fans, Soldado fans are super excited for
Are
that.
the fans crazy over there in Brazil? Like is that the way it is? Like
No, we have security. We've had one time where they charged the octagon, and Pamplona, who was one of the greats of Brazil fighters, he came in as a coach now, was going to punch the Alton Santos. I jumped in front of him. And that was my call to fame because I never fought in my life. And then security comes and bursts me out. He goes, never do this again. I go, I wasn't thinking. I didn't realize it was Pamplona. They could kill me. But dude, I'm gonna be posting this for the rest of my life. I blocked Pamplona. I blocked Jerry Maguire. It's McGregor. So that's cool. But anyway,
yeah, man.
yeah, it's
Guys, make
not
sure you
much
guys go
problems.
check out SFT Combat on there's a links in the description. Also, if you have any questions, you guys can we can bring out some questions right now. Were you able to bet on Shields? Or isn't that like he's a boxer, right? You watch boxing at all? Did you watch the Benavidez fight? You don't
Not
follow
at all.
boxing at all?
No,
It's
it's like a
MMA is
Sam
taking
Luther
over.
sport.
Right? MMA is like more like even like I like this about MMA more than in boxing. Like in MMA, like we get a lot of undefeated guys like going up against each other than like boxing. Boxing, they have like they don't like feast undefeated guys until they're like
That's the thing
20 and 0.
that there's more strategy in MMA because you can go to the floor, you can do wrestling, you can hold on. Boxing, you can't use the legs. You all use it's like a left punch, right punch. I don't get it. I'm sure people like it. I like the Rocky movies,
Yeah,
Rocky
the
Balboa.
movies were nice. Yeah, yeah, boxing.
I
You know
Mike
what?
Tyson. I used to watch Mike Tyson back in
Did you
the day.
watch
The
that Mike
last
Tyson versus Jake Paul fight?
what a joke! What a joke! Now the women's fight before that was a great fight. I don't know the name, so I didn't do it
Do you
for.
think it was
But
real? Do you think that matchup was real or fake? Jake
I think it
Paul.
was completely fake. I think Tyson he could have won that on the first round. That once the first round was passed, but you can tell he was kind of holding back. He was like I don't know. I don't know enough of boxing to be able to say for sure, but from what, as an outsider, it was never really more 100% that was fake.
Yeah, I think it was fake too. I mean, I wish I bet a lot of money on Jake Paul because I knew it was a fake from the beginning. But then I was like, I don't know, Mike Tyson would be willing to do that. But
What were the odds? I mean, I'm sure
I
Jake
mean, it was
Paul's
like
not.
minus
Yeah.
240, I think, minus 200 for Jake Paul. Wasn't that crazy? Because
Oh, really?
people are
So
like,
wow.
most of the public were picking Mike Tyson. But when you're 60 years old, I mean, like it's tough. Doesn't matter who you're fighting. Like
I
it's gonna
would
be
have. I
tough.
would have. If I
He
would
could
have
have
bet, I
won.
would have
He
bet
could have won if
against.
it wasn't fake. I feel like he should have
Yeah.
won.
And has there been any like lawsuits or repercussions about that? I mean, it was obvious that was a fake thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Netflix thing, money grab, pretty much. And I actually
Yeah.
bought a Netflix subscription just to watch that fight. It was pretty bad. I mean, definitely one of the worst fights we've seen. I mean, that's like what I don't like for like these new MMA fans or like combat sports fans, boxing fans, because they're probably never seen him fighting before, like MMA, and they watch Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. They're like, oh shit, I don't like this. This is boring. They're probably the people that
Right.
watch the like combat sports for the first time.
And
So
why
that's
is there
never a
so
good
much
sign.
time between fights? Why does it take so long between fights?
Yeah. I
And it's
complain
not. It
about that
wasn't
every
just
time.
this. I mean, it was just crazy. Like Dana White gets it. It's like, and I give shit to my crew. Like, if we don't get from time the fight is over, if we don't announce the winner within 90 seconds, I go, UFC can do it, guys. You tell me that the people want to say it's better than the Brazilians.
Yeah, the
I want
pacing
it on 90
is
seconds.
the one thing
It
I
needs to be, yeah.
hate the most. That's what's good about MMA. Like one fight's over, like they might take like a couple minutes, and it's right to
They
the
never
next
go
fight.
past 90 seconds to give they usually do it in 60 seconds or between 60 and 90 seconds. At that time, it was the knockout and took us 3 minutes to get the result. I go, this is not gonna fire me. Everybody fired. Now you give 90 seconds to give me the results.
Yeah, MMA Truther said, does he know any locals he thinks should be in the UFC right now? You have any guys in your promotion right now that are UFC
And
level right now?
um Nick Kachow, he's this little guy who's been beating the hell out of everybody. He's had 3 losses in the middle of his career, and you can obviously he was undefeated. He had 3 losses. He was going through a tough time, and now he's the double champion in 2 events. I think he would give us some good fights in the UFC for
Okay.
sure.
And also like what do you have to do as a promoter for like someone like UFC to like for your fighter to make it to UFC? Like what do you have to do? Like how many wins does your fighter need?
The thing is, we don't represent fighters, so but I know the UFC has got their eyes on us, and anybody that fights at SFT and wins a couple, they right away they're going to Russia to fight. The offers are coming. People have realized that we don't make it easy for anyone. Kathleen Souza fought 1 time, went to the UFC. Karine Silva fought 2 times, went to the UFC. Carlos Prates took a little bit longer. He had to fight 5 times. But a lot of these people, if they're good and they fight 1 or 2 times, UFC is coming after them. Teixeira
Yeah.
fought 2 times, and if they don't go to the direct UFC,
I mean,
they'll
if you're
go to
finishing
LFA.
fights like that, I feel like it's way quicker. You'll get like picked up way faster if you're finishing fights early on. Like if you're going the distance, I mean, like some guys in LFA they go the distance and they don't get signed, right? Like they're champions, they're
No,
defending the
because
belt over and over.
they want those fights to finish in the first round. And Manuel Souza, Manuel Souza, there's the guy in LFA, Richard
He's got some
Martins.
nasty power, man. I like his Muay Thai a lot. I like his Muay Thai.
Richard Martins from LFA. He's like a 9-1.
Who?
I think the guy's Richard Martins. Richard Martins. He's 4-0 in LFA right now. His record is 9-1. His only loss was also to Manuel Souza. Manuel Souza is a beast.
Martinez, isn't he like really tall? Martinez.
Martins. He's the kind of like the same height as Manuel Souza. He's only had 2 losses in his career as an amateur to Manuel Souza and as a pro to Manuel Souza. I would love for Manuel Souza to go to the UFC and see a Rufi Manuel Souza rematch. I think that would be a great fight.
Rufi, yeah. I mean, I don't think they're gonna do that right now. Rufi has a fight coming
No,
up right now.
no,
He's
and
fighting.
he's signed up with Bellator. So, and I know everybody's dream is to go to the UFC. So, and now that Bellator is done, wonder what's gonna happen with him. But
Yeah, Rufi's actually fighting Bobby Green, I think. So, yeah, he's actually fighting Bobby Green. I think he's gonna knock him out. Bobby Green is like he's been in the UFC for so long. He's like one of the veterans in the UFC. This is a pretty good matchup for him.
Yeah,
What
I'm
do you
going to be
think?
watching the UFC the next weeks because pretty much every week we have an SFT fighter. And those are the cards I watch. When we have an MMA with SFT, like February 8th, we have Telson Teixeira, then on 15th, we have Kathleen Souza, then 22nd, Melk Karate. When Melk fought for us, he was,
Melco Costa, is that the guy? Is that what we're talking about?
yeah,
Melco Joe?
Melky,
Melco Joe Costa, I think his name is, right? Melky.
I know as Melk. What the heck is
Is this guy right here?
he's, yeah, this guy.
Him?
And everybody thought he was going to lose, and I was on the broadcast. I go, guys, he's going to win.
He's
Because
had
this
some
guy-
tough matchups. I mean, Steve Garcia
what-
is like, he's on a run. I think Steve Garcia has like the longest knockout streak right on the UFC, and he's a 145er, which is pretty crazy. So
He almost died in the fight. He was fighting like a clandestine
one?
event, and Melk was in Brazil before I met him, and he was on a choke.
This guy, Anderson
And-
Farah. I know Anderson Farah. He cost me some money. I bet him last time. I bet him over this guy in LFA. Over not this guy. It was
Yeah,
this
this
guy,
guy,
Samuel Silva. Yeah, this guy, like, I lost some money
Buziga.
betting.
Yeah. But
That was
he's a good
crazy.
fighter, but he wasn't. But he actually, I think we have him coming back to fight in May. I think he's got a fight with us. I like him, but he couldn't accept that defeat. He was pissed.
He makes
You know,
mistakes. Like, he goes for takedowns when he shouldn't go for takedowns. He's got good
You know
power,
what
pretty good
the
chin.
problem was when they walked into the octagon. I told the commentators, look at this guy. He's gonna lose. He's not respecting Melk. He's walked in here as if he came to just to get his title. He's not and he got knocked out in the first round.
That's what happened in LFA recently too. Like, he went out there and he heard him, then he went and then he shot a takedown, ran into a ghillie. Like, happens a lot. That's all. Like, I mean, I'm not a fighter, right? So I don't know why they do this, but like, why do fighters when they hurt their opponent and they go for takedowns right after?
No, I think I think ego. I think everybody needs to have an ego, but you need to be able to keep your ego in check. And some guys have big egos, and I don't know why do fighters do a lot of the stuff they do. They've been punched too much in the head. It's I tell my matchmaker and my staff, think of fighters as your 4-year-old kid. You love him. He's gonna do stuff to catch you pissed. You're gonna slap your kid in the butt, but you're gonna continue to love him. And that's how I look at fighters. And I know that I always expect something stupid or crazy from them. And it's like, I understand because they've been abused. But so I'm for 2 years.
Okay,
For
that's
2 years, the big question was:
crazy word.
when is David Hudson gonna fuck us over? Because obviously, I'm an American here. He's here to fuck us over. No one believed I was doing this because I really believe in the sport and I love it.
Wilkin said he wants to fight it and he wants to make his debut at heavyweight.
I guess no one too.
Is it going to be hard to find someone for him at heavyweight?
But he's 0-2. That's the problem.
He can come back. I mean, he said he'll promise he'll get a knockout.
The thing, like this guy could be the best fighter in the world, but an 0-2. How am I going to sell this fight?
0-2. I mean,
Yeah,
people go
there's
0-2, right? Other people I've
An
seen, like,
American fighter who's never won a fight, lost 2 fights, fight of the year. It's hard to sell something like this. If he was 2-0, or if he was 2-2, win 2 fights and we got a deal.
maybe we can give him someone like, I don't know. Yeah, well, you gotta go fight some taxi driver first and then come back
Yeah.
after.
And he's in his heavyweight. It's as a heavyweight, you don't have to have too many fights in your
Parker
record, but-
Porter, that's the next matchup. Parker Porter versus Wilkin. Make it happen. Ask him. I'm here. Yeah, we did. He said you gotta get 2 wins, bro.
We'll get 2 wins, and then we're closing it right here. We've got a deal. Just get 2 wins, and because your heavyweight doesn't have to be.
He said he's not 0-2. He's not 0-2. He's making his debut. He wants to make his debut.
Oh, he wants to do his debut.
Yeah.
Does that feel like an amateur record? Like that we can can we track it? See anything he's done? Is he like 10-0 in jiu-jitsu or kickboxing?
He does boxing. I think he's been training boxing. Yeah, he trains
And was the
boxing.
fight 0-2? I would 0-2 guys are not fighting at SFT. We have a TV deal. We're on every Saturday on Network TV.
So what
I have
about like
responsibility.
guys making their debut? What about that?
No, yeah, no, no, 0-2, no. Oh no, we can do the first fight early prelim against 0-0, two up and coming guys, two starters. We do that often for the first fight of the night. I'll pay. You can come by train. You know, we won't pay for the airline ticket for 0-2.
Okay, they'll pay for your ticket after you win the fight. Fair, right?
Yeah.
That's fair. There we go.
That's okay. Okay, if you win, you'll pay for the ticket. I'll make
Yeah, there
sure
we
you
go.
get fed properly.
Yeah, they'll feed you and they'll send you home after you win. But yeah,
But anybody that's watching this that wants to fight in Brazil and has a positive record, you know, you don't have to be like this great 10-0, but you know, 2-1, 3-1.
imagine you
5-2.
go over there to fight SFT and your first opponent is Carlos Prates. That'd be fucking
Oh God.
crazy. All right, guys. It was nice. It was nice chatting it up with you, brother. We'll do this again sometime in the next month or so. But yeah, it was nice. Thank you guys for tuning in.
And thank you so much for this, and looking forward to more chats.
For
And
sure.
guys, please log on. I will do my best. The next our next event is going to be, I think, end of March. Hopefully, we'll have Pickham do it broadcasting it in English for us.
Yeah, we'll
Let's
try.
talk about it. We can do a
try my
test. We'll see
best.
that. Yeah, we'll give you the cheat sheet.
All right, take it easy, guys. Later.
Bye. Take care.